Lawyers, what is the worst family meltdown you've seen over a will? I've been working as a criminal barrister for 8 years now, and you see all sorts of family drama play out in the courtroom. But nothing prepared me for the case of Regina v. David Chen, which turned into the most bizarre family meltdown I've ever witnessed. It started as a straightforward domestic violence case. David Chen, 26, had been charged with assaulting his ex-girlfriend Emma Walsh and sending her threatening messages over a 3-week period in March. Standard stuff, unfortunately. What made this case unusual was what happened when I arrived at Southwark Crown Court that Tuesday morning. The waiting area was absolutely packed. I counted at least 25 people crammed into a space meant for maybe 10. At first, I assumed it was multiple families for different cases. But then I noticed something odd. They were all talking to each other like they knew each other well. My instructing solicitor, James Patterson, pulled me aside. "You're not going to believe this," he said. "That entire crowd? They're all here for your case, and they're all supporting the defendant." "What do you mean all of them?" "I mean all of them, including the victim's own mother." I looked closer at the group and spotted Margaret Walsh, Emma's mother, whom I recognized from the witness statements. She was sitting right next to David's parents, chatting like old friends. Emma's younger brother Tom was there too, along with what appeared to be aunts, uncles, cousins from both sides, and several family friends. James explained that the families had been close for years. The kids had grown up together in the same neighborhood in Bermondsey. When Emma and David started dating, it was like merging two already connected families. When they broke up 6 months ago, everyone had expected them to work things out eventually. Then Emma filed these charges, and the entire extended family network exploded. Not in the way you'd expect, though. Instead of taking sides, they'd all united against Emma, convinced she was lying. "They've brought evidence," James said, handing me a folder. Margaret Walsh and Emma's aunt collected Emma's old phones and found drafts of the threatening messages in her own sent folder. They think she sent them to herself from a burner phone. I flipped through the materials. Screenshots of draft messages that matched the alleged threats word for word. Phone records showing Emma had purchased a prepaid mobile 3 days before the first threatening message was received. A statement from David's neighbor saying Emma had been seen outside his flat on the night she claimed he'd cornered her at her workplace, which was 15 miles away. The most damaging evidence came from an unexpected source, PC Maria Rodriguez, who'd responded to one of Emma's calls. Emma claimed David had shown up at her job and caused a scene on the evening of March 15th. The problem was that PC Rodriguez had issued David a parking ticket that same evening at 7:30 p.m. outside his gym in Canary Wharf, 20 miles from Emma's workplace. When the trial began, I'd never seen anything like the gallery. Emma's own family members were sitting directly behind the defendant, some of them openly glaring at the prosecution table. Emma walked in with just one supporter, a friend from work who looked thoroughly uncomfortable. The prosecution's case fell apart almost immediately. Emma testified that David had grabbed her wrist right in front of the security camera outside her office building. She was adamant about this detail, repeating it multiple times. "And this assault would definitely be visible on the CCTV footage?" I asked during cross-examination. "Absolutely, clear as day." I played the footage. It showed Emma walking alone to her car, checking her phone, and driving away. No David, no altercation, nothing. The courtroom erupted. Emma's mother actually shouted, "Oh, Emma, what have you done?" from the gallery. Her brother Tom put his head in his hands. Judge Harrison had to call for order twice. When I presented PC Rodriguez's evidence about the parking ticket, providing David with an ironclad alibi, Emma's aunt started crying audibly. The prosecution looked defeated, and Emma was visibly shaking. The jury took 45 minutes to return a not guilty verdict on all charges. What happened next was surreal. As David was formally discharged, Emma's entire family rushed toward the defense table. Margaret Walsh threw her arms around David, sobbing apologies. Tom was shaking my hand and trying to hug me simultaneously. Emma's grandfather, who must have been in his 70s, kept patting my shoulder and saying, "Thank you for proving our boy's innocent." Meanwhile, Emma sat alone at the prosecution table, completely abandoned by everyone she'd expected to support her. Her work friend had already left. The prosecution team packed up quickly and avoided eye contact. The whole family followed us outside, where they spent another hour apologizing to David and praising the justice system. Margaret Walsh kept saying she'd raised Emma better than this, and couldn't understand what had gotten into her. David just looked shell-shocked through the whole thing. He'd been vindicated, but his ex-girlfriend's elaborate lies had nearly sent him to prison, and now her own family was treating him like a returning war hero. I never found out what happened to Emma after that, but I can't imagine many family relationships survived that courtroom.